And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with y'all for the next 2 hours. On today's show, Texas baseball staves off elimination in Omaha. The Longhorns roll past the Crimson Tide to survive another day in the College World Series. We'll recap that win and preview tonight's matchup against Georgia. Brendan Sorsby is headed to the NFL supplemental draft. The fiasco in Lubbock is over. We'll talk about how everything went down and what it means for Texas Tech and college football and for Sorsby himself. We've got some sound from Steve Sarkisian, who did an interview with Kay Adams yesterday, talking about the Longhorns here in 2026. Also, the future of Arch Manning, potentially beyond 2026. We've got some NFL conversation to get into, the BBK news, and why today's not so bad, and a conversation with Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered as well. A lot to dive into on a Tuesday show. We appreciate y'all spending some of your Tuesdays with us. How are you today, my man?
I am good, feeling good. You know, I don't know how I'm looking, but I'm feeling good at least. I spent some time at the dentist's office yesterday, 2.5 hours in the chair. And it was well worth it, to tell the truth. Yesterday, some weird thing happened to me on my way, not just to the dentist, but being in the chair with my mouth wide open and having a deep-rooted teeth cleaning on both sides of my face. I told you this morning, it just happened that I had my mouth open. The young lady, the hygienist, told me, open my mouth and just turn to the right slightly. And this was after 2 hours of being in the chair. I turned to her and I heard this little click in my ear and in the back of my neck. And dude, my back pain kind of disappeared. 10 minutes later, I didn't have my normal back pain. And I went through the day after that, BK, after I drove home from up north and got on Mopac at like 4:30. After I got home, I still was kind of pain-free. You know, for me, pain-free. I don't know what people think pain-free is, but for me, you know, after 25 years of thoracic surgery and just having pain, I went through a late evening and a night without squirming around at night sleeping. I mean, I actually stayed awake because I felt so pain-free, and got up this morning and still have that pretty good feeling. You know, some of my normal back pain is back, but I had been struggling lately because I did some dumb things, but I don't know what I did. So a chiropractor will have to let us know. We got people that are chiropractors. You know, my mouth was wide open for probably 2 hours. I never kind of closed my mouth when they were cleaning from one way to, I just kept it open. And so as I turned, this little sound in my ear, this little kind of pop in my neck. And I've done this before where I've laid flat. I told you I laid flat on my back and I tried to just relax my back and just let it fall into place on a floor flat. And it's been hard for me to do that over the last year because hell, I can't relax enough to get my body that relaxed. But in that chair after 2 hours, I had to be relaxed. And nothing that a Vicodin didn't hurt taking, but I was relaxed when that happened, when that little sound happened. So some chiropractor will tell me you just dropped yourself automatically into place, and that relieved a lot of the pain. So I am and back in my chair now too. It is all good on a Tuesday. I don't get this that often. I don't get a day of freedom from the back pain. So I feel great. I mean, I feel fantastic. I don't care if it's hot, cold, whatever it is today. I love everybody today. I love all of you. Whoa. I just love you. I love you. I'm just, to have this feeling the way I feel today, I love everybody today. I'm in a loving mood, and good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you so very much for what you do. EMS workers that have been around rescuing these people that have gone over crossings that they shouldn't have crossed. Thank you so much for what you do. And everybody be safe out there, please.
We got the Buck in a great mood today. So wait, man, you went to the dentist and they fixed your back pain?
Dude, I don't know. Being in one position for 2 hours and then doing some slight movement by keeping my mouth open and turning my head slightly and hearing that good sound that kind of cracks in your ear. It almost like it lets you know that your back has released itself. There's no tension, and it just kind of dropped. They have chairs in chiropractors' offices where you go and they're uneven and they just drop, and all of a sudden it drops your spine. I did that at the hygienist yesterday. I'm not saying it's not going to come back, because it always comes back. The pain always comes back eventually. Boy, to get one day, if I can get a full day today, it's like maybe this is what heaven may be like,
Golly.
Yeah, that's what I go through every day. So it's, maybe I just need to keep my big out mouth open all day long and just twist my neck every once in a while.
You're saying we need more than a 2-hour show?
No, 2 hours is good. I've got this chair, and this chair does it. My relaxed bag chair, it does a lot for me. But whatever I did yesterday at the hygienist office, and that young lady says, just turn to me. And I just moved my head that way. I don't know, maybe Sal, some of these guys, CB, they're fake chiropractors. They understand the human body. But I love them all. I love you all today.
There it is. Well, Buck is happy as a clam. He's in a great mood. And, hey, Texas baseball fans are in a great mood as the Longhorns were able to stave off elimination with a 14-2 blowout victory over Alabama in the College World Series yesterday afternoon. The Longhorns getting a historic performance from Adrian Rodriguez, who became just the third player in men's College World Series history to hit for the cycle. He also tied a College World Series record with 7 RBIs in the game yesterday. He's been the best hitter on this Texas team throughout the postseason, and he delivered once again in a huge spot. Obviously, the Longhorns with their backs against the wall, season on the line following that very disappointing opening game performance against Georgia. Ruger Riojas was great on the mound. I mean, Texas got a bunch of contributions up and down the lineup, but A-Rod, the hero. And what a bounce back, Bo. We were curious what this Texas team would look like after their worst performance of the year against the Dogs. They were clearly on a mission to prove that that's not who they were. And, they dominated a very good Alabama team to keep their season alive.
Yeah, I mean, they took the bats off their shoulders. They swung at pitches. They got after their pitcher. I mean, that was great to see. Now look who they have tonight.
Yeah, a rematch against Georgia. And, the way the College World Series bracket was set up, the only way Texas was going to get to the finals was, they were going to have to beat Georgia. And Georgia lost to Oklahoma, a bit of an upset in the 1-0 game on the right side of the bracket. So the Sooners in prime position to reach the finals in Omaha. But, yeah, for Texas, look, they have to win 4 games in 4 days. So right. 1 down, 3 to go. Obviously, now it's 3 in 3 days. And it starts tonight by getting some revenge against Georgia. And it's kind of funny, Buck. You and I have had this conversation, and we're not alone. Longhorn fans all over the world have had this conversation about football in recent years, where it's like, if you want to win a national championship, you're going to have to beat Georgia at some point.
Yes.
Well, now the conversation shifts to baseball, because if Texas wants to win a national championship this year, they are going to have to exercise some demons against Georgia. I think the good news, and this is, careful what you wish for kind of thing. But again, because of the way the bracket was set up, Texas was going to have to face Georgia either way, as long as they beat Alabama last night. Because Oklahoma beat Georgia, the Longhorns only have to beat Georgia 1 time. If Georgia had beat OU, Texas would have to beat OU tonight, and then they'd have to beat Georgia 2 times.
Times right.
So I guess it's better. Again, OU's the hottest team in the country right now, and they keep beating some really, really good teams. But I still think Georgia is better than Oklahoma. So I would rather only have to beat the Dogs 1 time and beat OU twice versus the other way around. But obviously, Georgia's very good.
Dude, as well as that kid pitched for Oklahoma last night, Georgia was still right on their heels at the very end. They don't go away.
They don't go away, but for that OU pitching staff, Merciless was great on the bump. And, Oklahoma, they had a tougher path than any other team to make it to the College World Series. I hate giving Oklahoma credit at anything, but, they had to go on the road and defeat the number 2 overall national seed, Georgia Tech. Then they had to go on the road in the Super and beat the number 15 overall national seed, Kansas. And, they crushed Alabama, the number 7 overall national seed, in their first game. And they beat Georgia, the highest remaining seed, yesterday. So they They are battle tested. They are hot at the right time. So again, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, if Texas beats Georgia tonight, they're guaranteed to beat OU 2 times to make it to the final.
No, they're on a heater. Both Georgia really and Oklahoma are on a heater. They're really hitting the ball right now.
Well,
and they got a great pitching yesterday. Last night was incredible.
Yeah, it's a really good game, entertaining game, and it was a one-run contest that came down to the final outs in the 9th inning. But yeah, I mean, look, it's to win a national championship, you've got to beat some really, really good teams, and that's what Texas has to do over these next few days. So
it's just good to see, guys like, Pack Jr. made his presence yesterday too. That was good to see. I mean, he was missing. He had been missing in action, it seemed like. Now he's back, and boy, those guys were swinging the bats yesterday. My goodness.
Yeah, just a big-time bounce back, and the Texas offense looked lifeless against Joey Volchko and Georgia in that opener. And, 15 strikeouts for Texas as a team. They obviously only scored 1 run. A totally different story yesterday afternoon. A-Rod, obviously, the straw that was stirring the drink. I mean, 5 for 5. Hits for the cycle, 7 runs batted in. He was great. But you're right. Anthony Pack Jr., 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. He had that opposite field home run, which, that he's so freaking good, man. Like, we've said it all year. The fact that he's a freshman is ridiculous. He's doing things that seniors don't do. And to go left on left over the wall to left field the opposite way in that spot, just huge moment for him, huge game for him. Ethan Mendoza, I'll give Jim Schlossnagle some credit because, Schloss shifted the lineup after game 1. Temo Becerra had been hitting cleanup for Texas for, the last month and change. He had a really bad game against Georgia. He wasn't the only one, but he was really bad against Georgia. And Ethan Mendoza was one of the few Longhorns who actually did something against Georgia. Right. So Schloss moved Mendoza from 6 to 4, and he dropped Becerra from the cleanup spot down to 6. And it paid off because Mendoza had, 3 hits, and he had RBI hits in his first 2 at-bats to help Texas get on the board early. So good decision by Jim Schlossnagle, shuffling the deck a little bit in his lineup. Obviously, great to see Ethan Mendoza play well again. He did leave the game early with the shoulder injury, which he's been dealing with since the end of the regular season. So hopefully that was a bit precautionary. Texas had a huge lead at the time, and it sounds like Mendoza is going to be able to at least give it a go in this one tonight at 7:00. But look, you score 14 runs, you need contributions from a lot of different guys, and Texas got it. The middle of the order was great. Carson Tinney walked 4 times after having a horrible game against Georgia. Much better defense behind the plate for him.
No lollipops. He wasn't lollygagging.
No lollipops, no lollygagging. I mean, Aiden Robbins was very good, and you expected it, right? Like, those guys are too good to play 2 horrible games in a row. But yeah, look, again, I was curious to see how the Longhorns were going to respond. There was no hangover effect whatsoever. Like, that was the Texas team we saw in their first 5 NCAA tournament games.
Yeah, you just come out, like we said yesterday, just come out swinging, and they did. They need the same tonight. You're not going to see that dude that pitched the other night against them. That dude is not getting back on the mound, I don't believe.
I hope not. I mean, he's not going to start, but the hope is he's not available to come out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I don't want to see him at all. Maybe stay at the hotel.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice if Joey Volchko just doesn't go at all. But, it's an elimination game for Georgia, so they're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to do whatever they possibly can to win this one. But the good news for Texas, Buck, you play 2 blowout games. You don't have to use any of your high leverage arms in your bullpen.
No.
So Sam Cozart has not pitched an inning in Omaha. He's good to go. Thomas Burns has not pitched an inning in Omaha. He's good to go. Hayden LaFew, same thing. But I think maybe better than all 3 of those guys being fresh is the fact that Luke Harrison is fresh. And he's going to start for Texas.
Yeah. Got a guy who had like 26, 27 starts getting in there to start it out. And that's a lot of teams don't have that right now.
Right. So Texas has some of the best pitching depth in the country. And obviously we saw Luke Harrison in both the regional and the super regional come out of the bullpen to get big outs. If either of the first 2 games were close, like if Texas Alabama was 4-2 instead of 14-2, then we might have seen Luke Harrison pitch an inning or two yesterday. And then, well, who knows what Texas does to start tonight. But because Riojas ate enough innings and the offense obviously put the pedal down, then you've got a fully fresh Luke Harrison ready to start and hopefully get you, 5 or 6 innings tonight. It won't be easy. We know Georgia's offense is very good, but that's obviously you'd rather be 2-0. But if you are going to be 1-1, this is about as ideal of a situation from a pitching standpoint as you could possibly be in.
No doubt. It is time for the Horns to eat the dogs.
I'm afraid to say that because I feel like every time we say that, they don't.
No, every time Kirby shows up, that's what – he can't be at the game tonight. He's got work to do. Shouldn't he be at work or on vacation? Why is he pretending like he's a baseball guy all of a sudden? He's not. Quit pretending.
I don't know. I mean, I watched the Georgia OU game yesterday, and I don't remember seeing Kirby Smart on TV. So I'm hoping he was just there last weekend, and he's already back in Athens trying to bail one of his players out of jail. But I don't know. Maybe he's like, oh, we're playing Texas again? Well, I know the voodoo I have on those guys, so let me fly back up to Omaha real quick and get to the ballpark.
He's got to get that driving school. He's got to go to get the driver's ed going back there on campus.
Back going? I don't think he started it yet. Maybe they should start
well, he's going to be I told you I got a chance as a coach to do a coaching class. He's doing driver's ed on campus during the summertime driver's ed for his team and high school and kids getting ready to get their license. That's what he does in the summertime.
Has there ever been a college football coach who also had to teach driver's ed?
Oh, if you look back, I guarantee you there's about 25, 30% of it at some point were the driver's ed guy when they were coaching high school, That was part of the deal. If they weren't coaching gym class, they were probably doing driver ed.
Hey, get you some extra money on the side, Smart move. Smart move. Yeah, they need somebody teaching that in Athens, Georgia these days.
My goodness.
But here's Jim Schlossnagle from the post-game press conference yesterday. It's kind of his opening statement following the Longhorns' 14-2 victory to eliminate the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Super fired up about our win. Obviously, thought Ruger did a nice job working around some deep counts and a little bit of traffic, and then obviously the 2-out hitting. We got some ball bounced our way in the first inning on those balls down the line, and then I think we scored 8 runs with 2 outs. Is that what it was? Maybe over the course of the game. And then obviously, Adrian was awesome, and so happy for him considering all the things he's been through this year. So fired up to be able to continue to play.
Yeah, I mean, his attitude's so much different than it was the other day. I know when they got beat, he just wasn't happy about anything the other day at all.
No, none of us were happy about anything the other day at all.
He was not excited about anything. There was nothing or anybody, even though the starter settled down, he didn't even talk about that. He was just not happy about that game.
Yeah. Well, it was a total 180 for Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, they went from their worst game of the season to arguably their best game of the year. I mean, Alabama's a really good team. The number 7 national seed. They swept their regional. They swept their super regional. Got a little lucky only having to play St. John's, a 4 seed in the super. But still, they were red hot coming into Omaha. And for Texas, I mean, just beating them would have been impressive. But to beat them in that fashion, ridiculously good. And speaking of 180s, Buck, the first inning. Right? The first inning against Georgia on Saturday was a total disaster. I mean, Texas went 1-2-3 at the plate, and then Georgia scored 4 runs, and Texas had 2 errors, and that's where everything unraveled, and the game was basically over in a bad way against the Dogs. Last night, Ruger Riojas strikes out the side in the top of the first. Texas puts up a 3 spot in the bottom of the first, and they're playing with the lead, and it's a lot more relaxing as a pitcher and just more enjoyable as a team when you get off to a fast start. And, Texas knocked Zane Adams, the Alabama starter, out of the game in the second inning. They scored 7 runs in the first 2 innings. So after an abysmal offensive showing where they looked totally lost, they just a couple of days later, one of the strongest offensive performances, again, against a very, very good pitcher and team.
Yeah, you got to attack. I know there are certain things you've done all year, but you got to get your bat off your shoulders and attack these pitchers early. Because they're going to be throwing strikes. They're going to be throwing it right where you want to hit it.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, you're not going to you're not playing Holy Cross or
Right.
Tarleton State. No disrespect to those teams, but like that, they're not going to walk, 10, 12
No,
batters every game. These teams are too good for something like that. So you've got to be, aggressive at the plate. When you get a good pitch to hit, you've got to hit the ball. And Texas,
absolutely.
again, the moment was too big for them on Saturday. Okay, they bounce back. They're comfortable. They know that ballpark now. And they got it done last night. Obviously, tonight they've got to do it again against a better team. Georgia's a better team than Alabama. And now Texas will have to find a way to do it against the Dogs. And
Yes.
God, please stop losing to them.
It's time to beg again. It's the portion of the show where we beg. Can you please beat them somehow, some way?
I mean,
One run is good, right? You don't have to look great. Can you just beat them?
I'm almost at the point where I'd rather lose to Oklahoma than lose to Georgia. I obviously don't want to lose to either. I want to win 3 in 3 days and make it to the finals, do what the softball team did. We all know that's best case scenario, but like I am so tired. I will beat them in basketball and women's basketball. I get it. But just in big games, big moments, just they've had our number. Tired of it. So tonight, hopefully it changes at least for one night, and we get a Red River shootout where, of course, Texas would have to beat OU twice. OU would only have to beat Texas once, but the Longhorns did sweep.
Hey, that's fine with me.
I'd die another day. I don't want to die today. I'm not ready for this thing to end. And look, I thought Texas would beat Bama. This team was too good to go 2 and barbecue in Omaha, and thankfully they got the job done yesterday. So we'll see. Coming up, 7 o'clock. Texas and Georgia again. All right, we will get back into some Texas baseball conversation a little bit later. We'll let y'all hear from Adrian Rodriguez. Chris Phillips from SEC Unfiltered will join us from Omaha. We'll get his thoughts on yesterday's action and also what Texas can do to turn the tide against Georgia. Maybe that expression should have been used for Alabama, but whatever. Y'all know what I mean. In a moment, we got to get to this Brendan Sorsby story. He is done at Texas Tech and declaring for the NFL supplemental draft. How did we get here and what it means for the future of college football? We'll dive into that story in a moment. But before we do, how about our first round of sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, Relax the Back embraces a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle, and my back couldn't be happier. I've got some things going in my direction, and one thing I've had going in the right direction for years is this chair from Relax the Back. They've got select massage chairs, select zero-gravity recliners, and, of course, adjustable mattress sets, pillows, Tempur-Pedic pillows, and mattresses. Folks, go there. Be preventative. Don't go there because you have back pain. That's fine if you do. But if you've got shoulder and you've been suffering and wondering shoulder and neck pain and you're wondering why, go find a chair or an accessory at Relax the Back to make you feel better before it gets to be worse. There's nothing like being preventative if you can't. So go to Relax the Back. If you know folks that are complaining, you got somebody in your family that's been complaining about lower back pain, hip pain, tell them to go on over Relax the Back. They've got something there just for them. It doesn't always have to be a recliner or an office chair. It can be one of the accessories. 2 great locations. One is at the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods, and in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center right across the street from the Container Store. Feel pain-free like the buck today for sure at Relax the Back.
Yeah, baby. I mean, you told me before the show even started that you were enjoying some time in your Relax the Back chair yesterday. So
what can I do stupid today to give me back that pain? That's what my wife said. She goes, you are going to find something dumb to do. You're going to pick something up that just is just a little too heavy and it'll be back. She said, you know what she said? She goes, don't worry, the pain will be back.
Oh, yeah, it'll be back. Well, that's very nice of her to support you like that.
I mean, it was great support. She's just trying to encourage me not to do something that I know today I'm going to find a way to do it. But that's okay. I've got the relief right now.
Reach out to our guy McCall Custom Homes and let him do any of the work that you have to do.
Oh, yeah, man.
Our guy Mike McCall at McCall Custom Homes, and he can upgrade your home, new kitchen, new bathroom. Maybe you want to add some life to your outdoor space. Maybe you've got a growing family you want to add on to your home. You don't want to buy or sell right now. The market's crazy. The economy's out of whack. And, well, you bought your current place for a reason, so why not make it better? That's what McCall Custom Homes is all about. It's a father-son team with more than 4 decades of experience here in Central Texas. They're licensed, they're insured, they're A+ rated by the BBB. Their pricing is very competitive. Their quality of work is second to none. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com. Bucky trusts his home to McCall. Rodney trusts his home to McCall. When I have a home, I'm going to trust my home to McCall. They're the best at what they do. McCall Custom Homes, ATX.com. That's their website. They're offering free estimates to Bucky and BK listeners, so take advantage of that. Or you could reach out to Mike McCall directly. Hit him up, call him, text him, 512-633-9580. It is McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
And by the way, if you do have pain or you just want to be relaxed, how about an early bird CBD? That'll do it too. I may have to have one of those. I'm feeling so good today. I may have to just add one when I'm not feeling any pain, Absolutely, boys. Tomorrow, definitely, I'll be playing a round of golf, and I'll get my drops. I love the CBD drops. They work for me. I take it right on the course with me, as a matter of fact. Get it in my water when I'm hydrating. I get it before, but the drops have been working. I didn't know if the drops were going to work for me. I thought I may have to just straight up use the gummies, but the drops do me just fine. Haven't had any knee pain, any leg pain, ankle pain. Been getting out there playing and walking close to 5 miles when I'm out there on the golf course. And early bird has been the reason why I've been feeling so great when I get around to golf in. And you don't have to have that muscle pain. You can just have on a night where you just want to relax. You want to watch a ball game. BK does it watching ball games. He does it just for the fun of it.
Just for the fun of it. Well, yes, It is fun, but also if you deal with stress and some anxiety, those things are not fun. And Early Bird CBD can help with that. They can help you relieve some of your pain, but also some of the stress and anxiety and things that feel like they are weighing you down. If you want to take the edge off, if you want to get a little mild feeling of euphoria and relaxation, that's what Early Bird CBD products are all about. It's a local Austin company, so you're supporting a local business whenever you buy Early Bird, but more so you are supporting yourself. You're going to love the benefits of CBD. Also, all of their products have a micro dose of THC, so I'm telling you, you will be a repeat customer. You try these things once, you are going to love them. The Buck and I are hooked on them. We've got our friends, our families hooked on them as well. Give them a go. earlybirdcbd.com. Use the promo code Bucky, and you're going to get 20% off your first order. Perfectly legal. You don't have to worry about your THC, and you're like, oh, am I breaking the law? No, Brendan Sorsby. This is all legal. earlybirdcbd.com. Again, promo code Bucky for 20% off your first order. All right. Well, speaking of Brendan Sorsby, Buck, we find out late last night that Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech are parting ways, and the transfer quarterback is going to enter the NFL's supplemental draft. It was reported and then confirmed by multiple outlets that Brendan Sorsby is planning to forego his remaining college eligibility, which as of yesterday, he still had, amid all the legal wrangling over his eligibility after he admitted to betting on sports. Everybody knows the story by now. After everything that had gone on over the past couple of weeks, he has decided to enter the NFL supplemental draft. The deadline for that was June 22nd. So a week before, he had to make his final decision about what he was going to do for the upcoming 2026 season. He decides to leave college behind and go pro. Your thoughts?
Yeah, yesterday, I thought, I've said that I didn't think he was going to play at all this year anyway at Texas Tech. But I think more so that, you talked about the fact that, for his mental health, this guy, he was going to be going through hell this year. And if they were truly worried about this guy's mental health, having him on that campus, having him go to away games, having everywhere he turned, there was some sign in his face, calling him a gambler and you're no good for college football. How does that help your mental health? I don't know how that would have helped him. I think that they had a plan. They found out that, he can get in the supplemental draft, or that kid himself said, enough is enough. I just, if I truly care about my mental health, if this is a real true issue about mental health, how does that help in my mental health? With the exception of I got $5 million. You get to keep that. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good deal for Sorsby, right? He will get to keep the NIL money that was promised him, even though he will not end up playing a single snap for Texas Tech.
And this sort of that this sort of alleviates some of the pressure of them. It kind of makes them look like, aren't we just heroes? We went to the very end for this kid. I think you were right this morning we talked. I think you were right saying, I think it was the kid and his lawyer that said, hey, the best thing for you is you got $5 million in your pocket. You know, some team is going to draft you as a third round pick or a second and maybe even a first. You can still play the game that you love, and you don't have to. And then you can talk about your mental health all you want to. If you truly care, dude, it was going to be hell for you throughout this whole entire season.
Well, I don't think the timing of this is a coincidence, right? Because, yesterday morning, and we talked about this during yesterday's show, the Big 12 Conference filed a lawsuit in federal court seeking both a declaratory judgment and injunctive relief that would allow the conference. That would allow the conference to be able to punish Brendan Sorsby and potentially punish Texas Tech. And I think, it was a local Lubbock County court in the state of Texas that ruled in his favor and gave him that injunction that was going to allow him to play this fall. But the conference took things a step further, and they went to federal court to try to, they couldn't really prevent Sorsby from playing, but they had an ability to punish, or they were looking for the ability to punish Sorsby in Texas Tech. And I think he and his team probably realized that, well, there's a chance that this court case drags out a little bit, and the deadline.
Big 12's got lawyers too.
Yeah, and the deadline for me to enter the supplemental draft is next week. The worst thing that could have happened for Brendan Sorsby's football career, and that matters way more to him than any sort of mental health charade that they are pushing right now. The worst thing that could have happened for Brendan Sorsby's football career, and there was still a chance that this could have happened, was he misses the deadline to enter the supplemental draft, so he can't enter the league. And then between now and the start of the college football season, somehow Sorsby is ruled ineligible, or Texas Tech, comes to their senses and is like, yeah, we're not going to play you because we're worried the NCAA is going to punish us a bunch, so you can't play. And then Sorsby would have been SOL, just not able to play any sort of football this year. That would have been a big problem for his development and his future. So he's not taking any chances, didn't want to risk something like that happening between now and the start of the season. And he's like, to heck with it. I am going pro.
Yeah, I mean, and how much do you really want to punish a guy? I mean, punish the university for being stupid enough to back him, but there's not much punishment in this for him. He's getting dude is getting $5 million and an opportunity to continue to play. So, but how much do I need to punish the guy? I don't want the guy to have an addiction. Is punishment enough? I mean, I know it's his fault for having that addiction. He put himself in that situation, but it's if he truly has an addiction, BK, it is a punishment itself. If gambling is his addiction, just like drinking or driving fast or doing something stupid, I mean, so I don't want to go, oh, let's punish him some more. He needs to be punished more than this. The NFL needs to punish. The NFL will do what they have to do because they don't care what you do in college. They don't care. They're not looking to punish him because he bet on college games. He didn't bet on any NFL stuff while he was in the NFL. What do they care? It's the NFL, So
you're talking about the NFL punishing Brendan Sorsby?
Well, I mean, I think he's punished. He will be punished enough that, just like I said, having an addiction is a punishment. It's his fault for having the addiction. Nobody else put this on him. All that stuff about blaming, college for being in bed with betting and all. No, this is your addiction. You're punished enough through the stuff that you've had to go through right now. Just hoping he's smart enough to fight through this and get an opportunity to still play the sport that he loves. Just not going to play it in college. Right. Now the real heroes are Texas Tech. Now we know that though.
Of course they are. I mean, Cody Campbell released a super long statement yesterday saying that, hey, we did everything right throughout this entire process, and don't get mad at me, don't get mad at us. We did everything perfectly, whatever. It continues to be a huge joke.
It was all about the kid.
Yeah, talking about that they acted with complete integrity throughout this entire process. And it's pretty funny. It's supposed to be a statement about Brendan Sorsby, and the whole thing was about Cody Campbell.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a really bad look for Texas Tech. They might play the victim card or the hero card, or maybe both at some point moving forward, but they spent a ridiculous amount of money. they alienated themselves from the rest of college sports, and they used the guise of helping a young person when they were shamelessly just trying to win games. And, of course, they ended up in the same place they started. So they have some major egg on their face that they're going to continue to have regardless of yesterday's decision. But, yeah, I don't wish ill will on Brendan Sorsby. And there have been instances that people are bringing up Terrell Pryor. Like, I thought that was a horrible mistake by the NFL. And it was also 15 years ago where Terrell Pryor was going to be suspended. Well, he was going to be suspended, I think, 5 games in college football for getting tattoos back when, like, you couldn't do anything for money.
Is this when they sold their jerseys or gave their pants away, golden pants or something that they got at Ohio? Some weird deal.
Well, it was around the Jim Tressel time, but I think it was, improper benefits because of tattoos. And the NFL decided to uphold that suspension when he got to the league. And Pryor was a supplemental draft guy too. So, there's people are trying to make some comparisons there. I think it'd be dumb. I don't think it would make sense if the NFL were to suspend Brendan Sorsby. Maybe they do. We'll see. But, it's just my whole thought on this. Like, I'm sure Tech fans hearing my voice will think I'm only celebrating this because, it happened at Texas Tech. No, like we've all called college football the Wild West. We've used phrases like toothpaste out of the tube and BBs out of the box to describe the state of the sport now. And it's just felt like anybody could do anything and get away with it because no one was there to stop them. It's like if the NCAA says you can't, well, just call up your local judge and he'll rule in your favor and you could do whatever you want. I think just about everybody agreed that needed to change. And finally it has, at least for this one instance. And maybe it is this one instance for right now, but at least
I hope it was the power of the Big 12 that slapped them back and not Texas Tech saying, no, we give in to the. I mean, I hope the Big 12 made it clear to them we were going to take, just like you drew your line in the sand, we were about to take this to federal court and we were not going to stop on this. I hope that was the case where they had to say, you know what, maybe we need to back down from this a little bit.
No, there was no Texas Tech backing down here. Right? It was Brendan Sorsby realizing that, oh, God, I might be in trouble and maybe I should leave just in case. It wasn't like Texas Tech came to their senses and was like, you know what? Everybody else has been right this entire time. So
you don't think the Big 12 scared them?
Wrong. Sorry.
Like you said yesterday, you said Big 12's got some pretty high-powered lawyers. You don't think it was the Big 12's federal deal that they were going to go that made them really rethink this?
No, I said that earlier. I think they made Brendan Sorsby rethink this.
Okay.
I think they were worried that, like, Brendan Sorsby's camp was worried that, oh, God, I might not be able to play this year. So let me make sure I have an opportunity to be on a football team this fall.
Sure.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Texas, considering how much they've done, I mean, they released that 22-minute video like 3 days ago about how about we're in the right, y'all are in the wrong.
Well, they're kind of erratic. They're irrational there anyway. They're going to change depending on where the wind and the smell of the sheep or wherever it goes. They're going to change by the day.
No,
but
they weren't changing by the day. They weren't changing. They were literally, everybody else was against this. Everybody else was against this. And they were the only people who thought this was okay. And again, they hid behind the guise of mental health. We're just supporting this addict. Y'all are in the wrong. We're in the right. Why aren't you supporting this kid? When everyone else is like, you are brazenly cheating and you're not getting what you want. And now you're paying off judges to have them rule in your favor to help you win football games. Everybody saw right through it. And they continued to double and triple and quadruple down on it. So I'm not giving Texas Tech any credit for this.
You're giving them nothing, not being afraid or anything, huh?
No, they missed their chance. They could have a couple of weeks ago been like, you know what? Yeah, y'all are right. It sucks. Sucks for us. We paid this guy a lot of money, but he cheated the system. He broke the one rule that everybody knows you can't break, the cardinal sin of college sports. So, all right, that's tough. We got to go, but we've got Will Hammond. We'll be just fine. And instead, now they're acting like the victims in this case, like they did nothing wrong. Everybody else is wrong. We're right. And it's a joke.
Yeah, and Sorsby's going to have an opportunity because that guy had, if he would have gone out last year, he may have been the second quarterback taken, even before Simpson. So, I mean, obviously, you and I have been asking what kind of quarterback. The more of the highlights I see of that guy, guy's 6'3", 230 pounds, and he can fling it. I mean, he's a good quarterback. And where will he be in this quarterback? Where would he been in this quarterback class? Who knows? He wasn't going to be in front of Arch Manning for sure, but somebody's going to say, here's a third, period. But somebody's going to give up a second for this guy. I don't know if they're going to give up a first, but somebody's going to give up a second.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how this thing is going to work. It's been a while since we've had an NFL supplemental draft. 2023 was the last time it was even a thing. And no one has been selected in an NFL supplemental draft since 2019, when the Arizona Cardinals took safety Jalen Thompson with a 5th-round pick. The Cowboys, by the way, just signed Jalen Thompson in free agency, funny enough. But the last quarterback to enter the supplemental draft was the aforementioned Terrell Pryor, who was a 3rd-round bid in 2011 for the Raiders. So it's been a while since anybody was picked in one of these things. It's been even longer since a quarterback was taken in one of these things. And yeah, I'm fascinated. Someone is going to take Brendan Sorsby. I know we got some of our audience saying he's mid and, why would you waste a draft pick on him with the great quarterback class coming up? I mean, you said it, Buck. Like, there were people who thought, and it was the same thing with Arch Manning, same thing with Dante Moore, same thing with Trinidad Chambliss. Like, there are a lot of quarterbacks who opted to return to college for 2026, or if they instead entered the 2026 NFL draft that just happened, they would have maybe been the second guy off the board behind Fernando Mendoza. And Brendan Sorsby's in that conversation too. So this guy might have been a 1st-round pick.
Yeah, this guy's better. This guy's better than a 3rd-round pick. Even in the supplemental draft. I mean, somebody's going to throw out a 3 because they don't really need a quarterback. And if they just get him, what the hell? But somebody's throwing out a 2nd-round pick to get. I mean, if you got a franchise quarterback possibly in the 2nd round, what you got to be. If it's there, I know it'll cost you the following year, but who cares? You get your quarterback.
It's the same as any other quarterback, right? You don't know. Nobody knows. The best quarterback of all time was a 6th-round pick. Nobody knows.
Right. So
you take a flyer. Like, you're using a draft pick on a quarterback. That's how this thing works. And this is
think the Cardinals. You don't think the Cardinals are willing to give up a 3rd-round pick to get this guy at their place?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, somebody will.
The Jets.
Somebody will. Right. Well, I don't know if it's 3rd. I don't know if it's 2nd. I can't imagine anyone spending a 1st-rounder on him. But how high is one team willing to go is the big question. And I guess a little refresher, because, again, this is not like a normal NFL draft. I don't know if everybody really knows how the supplemental thing works, but teams submit bids with future draft picks. So there's an order determined by a lottery, kind of similar to the NBA or NHL. Now, the NFL draft doesn't have a lottery. It's just based on your record. But the supplemental draft has a bit of a lottery system where the worst teams still do have a better chance to get a higher place in the order, but it's not 1 through 32 the way it is in the real thing. But the order only matters if 2 teams bid the same round draft pick. So let's just use the Jets and the Seahawks as an example. The Jets are awful. The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. If both of them bid a 4th-round pick, the Jets would get the nod because they're higher in the order. But if the Jets bid a 4th and the Seahawks bid a 3rd, then the Seahawks would get them because they used a higher pick. So that's kind of how this thing works. And you don't know. It's not like everyone's in a room bidding at the same time and Roger Goodell is just an auctioneer. You don't know what the other teams are going to bid. It's kind of a quiet behind-the-scenes process, and whoever has the highest bid ends up getting the player.
Yeah, but you could end up with a great player. I know. And once again, that's going to be your team leader. So you're going to find out about him in the locker room, and it won't take those guys long to find out about him. They'll know everything they need to know by the end of training camp of what kind of leader he is, what kind of kid he is. Was he just a dumbass that made a mistake? Which, we all say, yeah, he's just a young guy, a dumb guy, college guy that made a mistake, that plays football, where other guys who are young college guys that go gambling their parents' money away, no big deal. But this one right now still has $5 million in his pocket and an opportunity.
Look, I've said it the whole time. I'm not closing the book on Brendan Sorsby, the kid. I'm not closing the book on Brendan Sorsby, the football player. I wish him the best of luck. It's just like the reason I was so adamant against him playing college football was because he broke the rules in college football.
And because of college football, something has to go right for college football.
Exactly. And it's just getting annoying that I'm still mad at Ole Miss, by the way. Again, Tech fans might think, oh, you hate Texas Tech. I'm still mad that Trinidad Chambliss is playing because of the way that went down. Now, he didn't break a rule as cut and dry, black and white, as Brendan Sorsby did. But
he just yelled loud and got it done. You're right.
Well, the fact that guy could go to a state court and sue to get what he wanted, that's a joke. That should not be allowed to happen, right? You might hate the NCAA. You might want to break away from the NCAA. Guess what? They're still in charge. So their rules, some of them are crazy, but you should have to follow their rules.
Yes.
And just the way it is right now. And I think it's a joke that Chambliss is playing, but I'm glad that, it's felt like you could do whatever you possibly want in college football. And finally, somebody did something about it. But Sorsby, he should be allowed to continue playing football. And hopefully he gets his addiction turned around. And I think he's got a chance to be a good player at the next level. So I don't wish.
If you do want to punish him, he would end up with Cleveland or the Jets.
Oh, yeah. Well, now we don't have a choice, right? When you're in the portal, you get to pick and choose your destination. But when you go to the NFL, we'll see where you end up. Yeah, that'll be the real punishment, right? He doesn't need a suspension if he ends up in Cleveland, right? That's just
no. He's already. That's already tough on him to end up in Cleveland.
Enough. Yeah. So
he could end up with my Vikings. Who knows?
Could end up with your Vikings. Well, you guys already added little Kyler this offseason.
Well, little Kyler's only under a 1-year deal. So, and if they don't like JJ, they'll still be looking for a quarterback. So, I mean, this kid's pretty good, BK. He's not a bad quarterback. That's the thing. Somebody's gonna in the NFL, if all things are equal and he's not a knucklehead, which we know he's done a knucklehead thing, but he's not going to continue to be a knucklehead. It may even work out for him. Hell, it's already worked out for him. That guy's got $5 million. He doesn't have to play football this year.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything for Tech. Somebody just gave him a check and said, here. And he doesn't have to repay it back. Hey, yep. Cody, by the way, you just gave $5 million to a dude.
Well, that's chump change for that dude. That's like you giving $5 to a homeless person on the street. $5 million for Cody Campbell isn't anything. But it's whatever. There will be teams interested in Brendan Sorsby. The Jets, the Browns, Arizona, I think maybe comes to mind first. The Dolphins, perhaps Atlanta, Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers entering his last year in the NFL. So, there will be some interest here. There will absolutely be some interest in this player. And we'll now see where he ends up. But again, I just think this is a big win for college sports.
Yes.
It never made sense that Brendan Sorsby was going to be allowed to play. We all know the history of sports betting in college sports. We know the rules that are in place. It was ridiculous that this dude was deemed eligible by some local judge in Lubbock, but we think he was paid off by Texas Tech to make it happen. And I'm glad smarter heads prevailed in this.
Now, Tech better hope that their guy is ready to play in week 1 instead of week 3 with his knee.
Doesn't matter. They'll be fine. I mean, Texas Tech, and it
like goes back. They don't play anybody.
Yeah, they got Abilene Christian in week 1 and Oregon State, who went 2-10 last year in week 2. And then they got Sam Houston in week 3.
Oh,
so if Will Hammond's not ready for week 1, Texas Tech's still a very talented team. And get ready. Everybody get ready. Because I still think Texas Tech's going to win the Big 12 this year. Because I think Will Hammond's very good. And the rest of their roster, they spent a lot of money on other people too.
Their defense, boy, is something now.
They lost a lot to the draft, but they're still very, very good. They have the most talented roster in the Big 12. So Tech fans they're pissed at the rest of the Big 12 because the other 15 schools all ganged up against them to file this federal lawsuit, basically. And, they're going to act like, we didn't even need Brendan Sorsby. We're better than y'all. F y'all. Y'all tried to cheat us, and we still kicked your ass.
You think that's going to be their deal? You think they'll be talking that stuff?
Yes, 100%. That is the MO that they are going to take if they win. And, again, it's like, no, you guys you broke the rules that you can't break. And if Sorsby was playing on any other team, you would have felt the exact same way that everybody else feels right now. But that's the card they are absolutely going to play when we get to the fall.
Wow.
So, they'll be fine. And that's the funny part about all of this. Again, Brendan Sorsby's not Vince Young. He's not Tim Tebow. He's not Cam Newton. And they already have a backup quarterback who's very, very good too, that is capable of winning the Big 12 and getting them back to the college football playoff this
Jordan
year.
McGuire is talking to you smack about playing Texas anymore. Oh, we can't play you now. We don't have our quarterback.
Well, they knew Texas was never going to say yes to that, so it was a total empty threat. Was from the very beginning and still is today. And the rest of the country's against Texas Tech, realizing that they are who they are. And again, the farce that Cody Campbell, the fact that like people thought that guy was the right person to save college football. Oh, trust in Cody Campbell. He knows what he's doing. He's looking out for the best of the sport. No, he's a chairman of a board of regents for one school. He's a former player of that school, and he's a huge fan of that school. He's looking out for the best interest of Texas Tech, which is fine, right? Like, it's fine. Like, Kevin Eltife, the chairman of the board of regents for Texas, he should not be the guy in charge of determining what happens with college football. Now, in my bias, of course, I would love it because I know Texas would be taken care of if he was. But like the chairman of a board of regents, and in Campbell's case, a former player at that school, should not be the guy entrusted with the future of the entire sport. And now through all of this madness, everybody realizes that, no, he's looking out for his school and he doesn't give a damn about any of the other 137.
Some guy that can go buy a judge down in Hooterville or whatever the hell that guy came from.
Hootersville?
Wherever the judge that he bought for them to start this madness off. And nobody's heard from that judge for a while. He's still on vacay?
Well, that's the question. Now, what happens to that guy? Does he still get his money?
Ooh.
I mean, he did his job. He did it like he did his job. He did everything right.
Sure, that's right. He got the guy an injunction, so he should get paid.
Yeah, I'm sure the check's already cleared. And if Cody Campbell's trying to call him right now, he's probably changed his phone number.
Pay that judge.
Yeah, he's already gotten paid. That judge is good. He's taken care of.
Wow,
man, what a story. So, yeah, Hootersville. That is a place I would like to go, by the way.
Hootersville?
Hootersville. I'm not quite sure where that is. Maybe our guy Craig Way can tell us how to get there because he knows how to get everywhere in the state of Texas. So if that is a real place, then he'll have the directions. But, I would like to find my way, stumble upon Hootersville once in my life,
Stumble on in there.
Stumble on in there, see what it has to offer. I like to explore. I like to travel. I like to see new places. So what are these Hooters?
Close to Lubbock, probably.
What do they call the people there? Hooters? People reside in Hootersville?
The ladies are Hoodettes.
The guys have Hooters?
Guys are just Hooter. They're from Hooterville. Ladies are Hoodettes. They're Hoodettes.
Stay away from guys with Hooters. I got to be careful with those. I don't know if I want to take any chances there. So there you go.
How you feeling? How's your tan? How's your tan doing? You are starting to darken up, by the way, or redden up.
You call it a tan?
Ooh.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
We told the story yesterday. Yeah, I was in Cancun over the weekend for a buddy's wedding and had a great time, needless to say. But, yeah, the sun, the Mexican sun, it's different down there. It ain't the same sun. People think the sun is the same everywhere. That's not true. They have a different sun in different countries. And the Mexican sun, it did some damage on me. Had it out.
Yeah, I always thought that the Florida sun was like that too. When I would go recruiting and hang on the beach, I said, this sun feels different. No, it's just that you're near the ocean. There's a lot of beach area there. There's a lot of water, and there's a lot of beach and sand. And by the way, you don't wear any sunscreen, Buck. There's a reason why you're burning up down here.
Yeah. See, I would I'd feel different if I just didn't put on sunscreen like you. But I put it on a lot, and I still got cooked. So now I'm mad at Banana Boat.
Old banana. Is that what you got, the old Banana Boat?
Yeah, that's the sunscreen I was using. I bought one of those travel sunscreens. I bought a couple of them. I knew I was going to need them. I ran through 2 bottles of that thing.
Yeah, back in the day when I was at the poop deck, I was using Johnson & Johnson baby oil. You don't think I cooked with that stuff on? I was the light-skinned black guy coming from Boston and wanted to get a little bit darker and say that I really went on vacation. And I put baby oil on instead of, no suntan lotion, but baby oil on my body. BK, it started to bubble my skin.
What were you hanging out with P. Diddy down there?
No.
Doing freak offs? Why are you putting all that baby oil on you?
Oh, because that will darken you up. That will burn you.
You're already black.
I was wanted to be darker.
Interesting.
It was the winter time back at school in Boston, so I wanted. Everybody else was coming back with a tan. I just wanted to darken up just a little bit. I didn't realize putting baby oil was going to do that if I was standing around on the beach for 6 hours every day.
Oh, at the poop deck. Was that Diddy's excuse in court? I haven't been keeping up with that enough. Did he just say, yeah, no, I wanted to get tanner and I wanted everybody at the parties to just be tan. That's why we had all this baby oil.
That brother is already tan. That dude is blue. He doesn't need to worry. He doesn't have to get any darker. He needs to lighten up.
God. Now, to answer your question, I'm still in some pain. It looks better than yesterday. I kid you not, Buck. It's kind of good that Texas baseball played an afternoon game because I posted up on the couch and just worked from home basically all day. I put aloe on 5 times yesterday. No exaggeration. 5 different times. And showered this morning when I woke up and put aloe on right before the show. So I will be continuing. I got to run to the store after the show and go get more of it. So
will you peel? Will that peel eventually?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the more aloe vera I put on, the less peeling is going to happen. But there's no doubt I will be. Like, I can't walk outside without a shirt for like the next 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because it's going to look real bad. So
is your head hot too? I mean, yeah, that got to hurt. That's got to hurt on me.
Not on the whole head, but still, yeah, the front of because I was wearing a backwards hat that, of course, this one's on me. There's like that hole for the adjustable part of the backwards. Yeah, that's why I have it. I was wearing a hat the whole time, so the rest of this is fine. But up here, because I was going backwards lid, not good.
Yeah, that'll help make that hair grow too. You just needed some sun.
Whatever I can do for that, I'm doing right now, believe me. But
yeah, those hats don't do much protecting. They're wonderful caps that we get from Sue Patrick, but the radiation from the sun, they go right on through that material, right into your scalp, brother.
Well, again, the hat did fine. It was just there was a hole in the hat because of the spot. Like there. I wasn't wearing this guy, but like this hole to show you, this is where that's where the burn is. So I was wearing it backwards, and here I'll put it on right now. Boom, that's the red right there. You could see it.
Burnt orange.
Yeah, I was just repping Texas baseball down there, and maybe it's more Georgia red. Maybe that's why Georgia won on Saturday. That's my fault. But anyways, there's that.
We all have to learn. In your occasion, that ain't the first time you've been burned like that.
No, and it's probably the first time I've been burned this bad, despite putting on as much sunscreen as I did. So also, yeah, like I just have to eat the sunscreen next time. That's it. I got to drink it
a week before.
Yeah,
hydrate with it.
Grab the bottle instead of applying it. I just have to inject it. I have to consume it, and that's the only way I'm going to avoid a sunburn. Apparently, I don't know. All right, we'll take your thoughts on all that. We'll get back into the Sorsby conversation. We also have some Steve Sarkisian sound to get to in hour 2. But joining us in a couple of minutes will be Chris Phillips from SEC Unfiltered. He's been at the College World Series since day 1, so we'll get his thoughts on the Texas game yesterday and also what Texas has to do to get some revenge against Georgia tonight. But before we go any further, Buck, how about a few more sponsor shout-outs?
Folks, our good friends over at Texas Orthopedics, contact those experts if you're starting to have that pain and you're ready to get surgery and even non-surgery, because their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults, rehabilitation, spinal care, sports medicine, joint replacement, and their doctors are dedicated there, and their goal is to get you right back into good health and the great quality of life that you definitely deserve. Once again, it's not always about the surgeries there. They do non-surgical orthopedic care too and rehab. Texas Orthopedics is the largest independent orthopedic practice in Central Texas. For more information, please go to txortho.com.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Texas Orthopedics and also a shout out to audiovisual consultations as well. I think we're 81 days away from Texas football kicking off, which means we're 74 days away from college football kicking off. Of course, the NFL will start shortly after football season. right around the corner. Make sure you make the call to AV Consultations and get on the schedule before we get to the fall. We got plenty going on right now with the World Cup, the College World Series, and Major League Baseball.
The WNBA. You're missing some fine games in the WNBA.
The WNBA happening. Of course, we've got the U.S. Open coming this weekend in golf. There's never a bad time to be a sports fan, which means there's never a bad time to upgrade your sports watching experience. You can do that with our guy, Tom McKay, and his great crew at Audio Visual Consultations. They've been hooking up Central Texas since 1988. Thousands of satisfied customers over the last nearly 4 decades. They've hooked the Buck and I up at multiple places of residence. I've got the 4 TV set up. Heck, if you watch the show, you see these 2 TVs behind me, all done by AV Consultations. The Buck's got the 85-inch screen. He also has one of those like canvas TVs that looks like art.
Yes.
When it's off, it's a real TV. All the best technology, the best equipment, the best service, the best people. They do the best work. That's why they've been around a lot. Just 512-255-8678. Tell me about it here or more info online at avconsultations.com.
Love them.
Yes, indeed. And a quick shout out to Altstadt Beer. Pretty good combination, right? AV Consultations, you're watching your home TV and you're drinking a nice cold Altstadt Beer. That's basically me every day that ends with a Y. Love me the Altstadt Beer. My favorite choice of beer here in Central Texas should be yours as well. Brewed locally in Fredericksburg, not just available in the Austin area, but also in Houston and Galveston and the DFW Metroplex and San Antonio. Wherever you buy your beer, you could get the greatness that is Altstadt. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. And I always mention it. Earlier this year, Altstadt was named Brewery of the Year in the state of Texas at the Texas Craft Brewers Cup. They've won plenty of awards for their brewery, for their beers over the years. If you haven't tried it yet, you are missing out. It's the only beer that I drink. I'm telling y'all, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers that you have been drinking in the past. Get you some. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Sweet.
All right, let's travel up to Omaha, Nebraska, the site of the Men's College World Series, and a guy who doesn't look too hungover. He looks like he's well rested. He looks like he's got some energy despite attending basically every College World Series game that's happened so far. Our great buddy Chris Phillips from SEC Unfiltered. CP, how you doing today, man? Oh, we've got you muted, CP. Let's see. Maybe he has been drinking.
There we go. How you got?
There you go.
Nice. Too many Jello shots up there. What's going on?
Maybe the Jello shots.
What I was trying to say was the adrenaline of getting to talk to you guys is what keeps me going.
Yeah.
So
And
we're
the
already
Jell-O
off to a
shots.
hot start. I'm kind of like Georgia. I didn't show up when it mattered most. So how
Let me
dare
ask
I?
you this,
But no,
Chris.
yeah.
How are the dogs, the hot dogs in Omaha? Are you a dog guy when you're at the ballpark?
I got to be honest with you, Buck. I haven't had a hot dog since I've been here. I mean,
Really?
what are you going to do? You going to get a ballpark dog today?
Yeah, you need to get a dog. Tell me, what do you throw down on your dog anyway? Please, you don't.
Yeah, I'm a ketchup, mustard, chili, cheese, probably kind of guy. If I'm getting at the ballpark, I mean, if I'm just at home, ketchup, mustard, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need hot dogs at my house.
I don't find it sacrilegious to put ketchup on a hot dog. Some people
You don't?
do. I don't do with your. I will not judge a man how he wants to consume his wiener. It doesn't matter to me. So
You're not going to get on anybody about how they consume the wiener.
What you do with your wiener is your business.
Gosh. All right. Well, what is the ballpark food item of choice? Are you a nachos guy? Are you a peanuts guy? What's you've had to have something at the ballpark.
Seeds, man. Sunflower seeds. Yeah, I'm kind of just. I try to make it a point not to eat at the ballpark. You know, like there's all due respect to the ballpark food. There's so many better options. Maybe I need to broaden my horizons though, because they've got some cool stuff out here. They've got like a smash burger. I saw somebody yesterday had like a foot long of nachos.
Wow.
They've got I saw a guy next to me had a hot dog and it had all the dressings on it. And he's eating in his hands covered in whatever gunk is on the dog. So yeah, but I'm typically, if I go to a ball game, man, it's just bring some sunflower seeds and I'm pretty much content. So
yeah, I have to. That's the only time I eat a hot dog is at the ballpark. if there's a cookout and people are having, I don't eat hot dogs on general, not at my house, not at somebody else's barbecue. But if I go to the ballpark, I'm an onion, mustard, relish guy. That's all I eat. And the coldest Coca-Cola. Since I don't drink, I drink about 3 or 4 Coca-Colas at a game.
I love that. Hey, you want to know something crazy? My co-host, Anthony Renato, he doesn't like condiments like that at all. Like, the only thing he puts on a hot dog is ketchup. He doesn't like anything else.
Really?
He's like a child. Yeah. Like he gets a cheeseburger. It's just like ketchup. That's it.
That's it.
He doesn't like mayonnaise, doesn't like mustard, no sauces. None of the sauce except ketchup.
He's missing out. He is missing out.
And because some people don't even believe you should put ketchup on a hot dog. Some people are like, it's mustard. That's it.
That's all you get. Well, Chris, we'll start with Texas, and then we'll get your thoughts on some of the other SEC action from around the College World Series. Obviously, 2 games in the books for the Longhorns. Before we preview tonight's game against Georgia, just want to get your thoughts on Texas's loss to Georgia on Saturday, and obviously their big bounce back, that 14-2 blowout victory over Alabama yesterday.
Yeah, it's crazy. Lots has happened since you and I were on we were on the airwaves here. The game 1 against Georgia, that can happen on a stage like this. Guys rise to the occasion. You see the very best version of them, and I don't know that anybody was hitting Joey Volchko that night. Now, I know it was disappointing from the Texas side, and I saw Jim Schlossnagel's comments that, the disappointing thing was like the game sped up and maybe the moment got a little bit too big, and I might be paraphrasing just a little bit, but essentially that's what he was inferring to, and that first inning was rough, to say the very least. I did not expect, some of the defensive blunders that followed Texas. Carson Tenney forgetting how to throw a baseball for an inning or so. Ashton Larson not helping him out at first base, giving him a good target. It just was a comedy of errors. And I thought Dylan Belances battled after that first inning. Over 40 pitches in the first, and he goes all the way into the 7th, and maybe left him out there a little bit too long, but I get it when you're going up against the other team's ace and he's throwing the way that he is. So, I thought all in all, he settled in, gave Texas every opportunity, but after Georgia took the early momentum, and it was very evident, like the 3rd or 4th inning, you were like, hey, this isn't just your normal start. This is what Joey Volchko is doing is really, really special. So, well documented what happened in that ball game, but a great bounce back, obviously, yesterday. I mean, I thought Texas would bounce back the right way, and boy, they did it in emphatic fashion. I tell you what, there's not a hotter man in the country than Adrian Rodriguez. What he's done, 5 for 5 yesterday, hits for the cycle, only the 3rd man in College World Series history to do it. Other guys, Anthony Pack, Ethan Mendoza, both 3 hits apiece in that game yesterday. So ending Alabama's season effectively in an elimination game. So, guys, I told you, I thought we were going to get Texas, Georgia multiple times in this tournament. I didn't know it was going to come in this game. I thought it would be in the game tomorrow and potentially the if necessary on Thursday. But one of these teams is going home. I mean, it's wild to think about it, because I both feel like if you told me we played Georgia and Texas 3 times and that was the Natty, I'd feel pretty content with that. I'd be like, hey, these are probably the 2 best teams in the country. But it just goes to show, man, anybody can get hot at the right time, and Oklahoma's done that. And we got a whole other side of the bracket as well, not to discredit them. So, but yeah, great bounce back by Texas. Obviously, tough way to open it up, and I'm not surprised at all that we're getting the rematch. And
Texas not using up much of their pitching. They still got a guy who's started over 20-some games that'll be able to take the mound. They've gone far with their starters. It doesn't mean they've gone good, but they've gone far with them, which has been pretty good for them.
Yeah, Luke Harrison should get the baseball tonight, I would assume. You haven't even thrown Sam Cozart yet, which is a luxury. And, I would expect Dylan Vigue on the Georgia side to go tonight. It's interesting, though. You could very much argue that Texas now has the advantage on the mound. I mean, I think Georgia offensively, they're going to have to wake up. And that's not to take away from what Xander Mercurius did last night. He was absolutely phenomenal, and Cleveland there at the end shutting it down. But it has not been the Georgia offense. I mean, even in the game against Texas, it was aided by the errors. It's not like Georgia tore the cover off the baseball. Dylan Belances still had 9 strikeouts in that ball game. So, Georgia, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever side you're on, they're kind of proving some of their doubters right from the standpoint of when people were scared about, is the ballpark going to make a big difference? And so far, the answer is yes. So, yeah, you're right. Texas in a good spot. This is a spot that Harrison, he started plenty of games, and You got your best bullpen arm ready to go. So, but Georgia's only used 2 pitchers themselves. So it's going to be all hands on deck tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered joining us here on Bucky and BK. Yeah, the Bulldogs 0 for 12 with runners on base yesterday against Oklahoma. They've only scored 5 earned runs so far in the College World Series. Obviously, they scored 7 against Texas, but 5 of them were unearned. So, yeah, that high-powered offense hasn't been as high-powered in their first 2 games. Tell us a little bit about the Georgia bullpen, I guess, Chris. I mean, you mentioned it. The Bulldogs have only used 2 pitchers, right? They let their starters, obviously, Volchko complete game against Texas in the win on Saturday, but Aoki pitched all 8 innings for Georgia yesterday, so they've got the fresh bullpen. You mentioned you feel like the Longhorns might have the edge with Luke Harrison starting the game, but how good is Georgia's bullpen, and what kind of problems could they potentially present to the Texas offense this evening?
Yeah, I mean, I think the positive for Georgia is, again, everyone's available. I mean, that's the biggest advantage, or I should say just positive for their pitching staff. I think it's going to be Dylan Big U tonight. He has the 3rd most starts in the team with 15. I think you'll see him start the game. But, Kenny Ishikawa is a guy that started for them this season. As far as the bullpen goes, their top inning eaters have been, a Jackson Peavy, Zach Brown, excuse me, guys, Dylan Wood, Justin Bird has been the big one for them. He's got a 198 batting average against. He's been really, really effective. Grant Edwards as well. Paul Farley has pitched a lot of meaningful innings. Matt Scott. But, that what's interesting about the question you ask, it was the bullpen that was sort of their Achilles heel in the Super Regional, you might recall.
Yeah.
They did not pitch it well in the Supers. So they're going to need a much different performance from their bullpen guys if they're going to have a shot tonight, and then moving past tonight if they were to advance. So it's like every other SEC bullpen, though. It's high velo, nasty stuff, but certainly they're gettable. So step one, I think, for Texas, obviously, don't let a Georgia starter go a CG again. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Knock him out of the game early-ish, and get into that bullpen and take your chances because, as good as they are and as talented as they are, Mississippi State was able to hit them. They have been hit around, and I think Texas could do the same.
There you go. Chris Phillips joining us here on Bucky and BK. Well, now, and I hate praising Oklahoma, but my goodness, what a run that they've been on. I mean, they had the most difficult path to get to Omaha, having to win the Atlanta Regional against Georgia Tech, then having to go on the road to sweep Kansas in the Super Regional. And they made quick work of Alabama, and obviously they beat the Georgia team, who everybody thought was kind of the favorites going into the College World Series. So, Oklahoma, obviously they're in the catbird seat, 2-0. They're off to a great start. It feels like an easy yes at this point, but you feel like they are legitimately good enough to win this entire thing?
Whether or not you think they're good enough, they're hot enough, and that's maybe all that matters right now. I mean, it's called catching a heater, guys. I mean, they have caught the heater of all heaters. I listen, I can't wrap my brain around it, and it's not meant to be disrespect to OU fans, and I think most of them, for the most part, on social media, for example, they're not taking it as such because they're just as surprised, if not more surprised, than we all are. Because what I saw from this team down the stretch, losing their last 4 SEC series, one and done in the SEC tournament, there was nothing that would have indicated that this was coming. To go to Atlanta and beat Georgia Tech twice, to go to Lawrence and do what they did to Kansas in 2 games, and then to come to Omaha and do what they've done, and it has been really, really special. Xander Mercurius showed no fear last night. The fact that it's freshman on the bump, and at this point in the season, you're not really a freshman anymore. Like, you've seen enough, you've been in the fire enough to where it's like you've got some experience now, but still young guys that have just dominated. And we talk about guys rising to the occasion in the biggest moments and the biggest stages. And credit Skip Johnson. I mean, that's where you have to go with it, right? That's where you have to go. The way he's been able to rally the troops and get this team to buy in. And, it's a team that's loose. It's a team that's having fun. Maybe you could argue, guys, that coming in with no expectations helped this group, I mean, they're one of the few that came in where it's like, hey, we're happy we got here, and everything else is gravy. And it's just, baseball's a game like so many others that, when you take kind of the pressure off and you turn it back into a kid's game and you're just having fun, and stuff like this can happen. But it is just hard to believe. It's hard to comprehend what they did beating Georgia and what Xander Mercurius did in his start was really, really special.
Yeah, I thought he challenged those guys. I thought he was going to be a little bit more finesse than he was last night. He challenged them right in the middle of the plate and up high a little bit. I think he got tagged once, didn't he, for a home run?
He did. Yeah.
Jackson got him.
Yeah, Dan Jackson.
Yeah, he put one up there and left it up there kind of high. But the rest of them, he just brought heater after heater. I'm like, is this guy throwing like 98? I don't think he was throwing that fast, but it didn't stop him from throwing his fastball.
Well, and I think in a ballpark like this too, where you got a team that they love the home run.
Yeah,
let them try. I mean, pitch to contact. Have at it. I mean, I think the ballpark has proven to this point that, I mean, you've really got to tag one to get it out.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Really have to get into one. So, no, it's. I'm not trying to take credit away from Oklahoma when we talk about the crazy run, because they are a good team. And to your point, BK, how could you sit here and say they're not good enough to win it all? Again, they're certainly hot enough, and I think that's one of the keys at this point right now in the baseball season.
For sure. Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered joining us here on Bucky and BK. CP, I'm sorry to ask you this. One thing I love about you is that you just love talking ball. You don't like talking about all the extracurricular nonsense that goes on with college football when it comes to playoff expansion and realignment and NIL and all that. You like talking about the games on Saturdays, but I got to ask you for your thoughts on the Brendan Sorsby situation. I know it's not an SEC topic, but it's something you've been paying attention to. It's something everybody else has been paying attention to. Sorsby last night announcing that he's declaring for the NFL supplemental draft. Sort of feels like a big win for college football and at least keeping some sort of rules and regulations in place for the future of the sport. Would love to get your thoughts on the ultimate decision out there in Lubbock.
Yeah, he's betting on himself. That's admirable. I'm really honestly happy for all parties involved. Like you said, it's a win for college football, no doubt. The integrity of the game was under attack had he played. Honestly, and the kid's not a victim in any standpoint. I think it's a win for the kid because it would have been a brutal season going, all the noise and what he would have dealt with. And, I think Texas Tech could argue it's a win for them. Like, again, this goes away. Nobody, if you really asked them deep down and gave them truth serum and they had that preposterous 22-minute video that they're sitting at a round table like it's an intervention, which I'd love to know their thoughts now. Do you still support him the way you said now that can we be honest now? Like, I'm sure they're happy they don't have to deal with this headache anymore.
Yeah.
I think for all parties, but certainly for what we care about, which is college football as a whole, I do think it's a positive.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It can now go away. The kid can go continue to go to rehab, end up being in the NFL. Somebody's gonna pick him up. He's not gonna go undrafted in the supplementary draft. Somebody's drafting that guy. He's good enough to go play. The NFL doesn't give a rat's ass about it. Somebody's gonna take him, and if they want him bad enough and they want him high enough, they'll have somebody within the system to make sure that he's doing all the right things. Plus, how many chances does he think he's going to get? If he's truly got an addiction, he better take care of it. What he has, though, Chris, he's got $5 million that he didn't have to pay back.
Heck of a bookie. I don't know. That's can I just say this? It's kind of proof that, and just understand what I'm saying when I say this, that bullying works. Bullying still works, Like, they kind of got bullied into this. It's like when all of college football and really the sports world is against you.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty stubborn and hard-headed and set in your ways not to just say, hey, maybe they're right. So, again, happy it's gone away. It's another, like you said, BK, I most notably love to talk about the games in the field, not so much all the nonsense going around. I'm glad one less nonsensical thing exists. So,
yeah, college football itself, the game of football had to win eventually.
Yeah, and the people that love the game, it had to win eventually. Yeah. I agree with you. So best of luck to the kid. Best wishes. If he's got a serious gambling problem, hopefully he gets the help that he needs.
Absolutely.
Glad he's going to be handling all that outside of the sport of college football.
Yeah. Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered joining us here. Last one for me here, CP. Maybe the most important question of this entire conversation. We brought up Jell-O shots earlier. I have not been doing a good enough job of keeping up with the, Rocco's Jell-O shot challenge up there in Omaha. I'm sure you've been. I'm sure you've had at least 1 or 100 during your time in Omaha. But how is that place? What's the atmosphere around that place? And who's got the updated lead with the Jell-O shot challenge?
BK, it's you might hate me for it, or it might sound like sacrilegious. I've been to Rocco's once since I've been here, and I haven't consumed a single Jell-O shot.
Whoa.
Nah. I got to be honest with you, though, man. I had enough Jell-O shots last year when LSU was in town to last me a lifetime. Like, yeah. I could never have Jell-O again. I have not woken up one day on this trip and been like, God, I'm craving a Jell-O shot. I need it, man. I need it. So I think it's West Virginia is still in the league. Of course it is. Also, I feel like stock down on Rocco's after the Pat McAfee segment came out. That a lot of people are fading Rocco's. So I'm going to check the score. I'm going to do you guys the favor and check the score here.
I didn't see that McAfee. What did McAfee dunk on Rocco's or something? That's
Did you not see this clip?
No, I guess not.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, this was a couple of days ago, but he went on his show, and you'll have to watch the clip. It's like 2.5 minutes, but he essentially went in there trying to write a check for a bunch of Jell-O shots, and the staff was rude to him about it and said that, oh, your check would bounce. Like, you can't do that. We don't take checks. Your check would bounce. So that was not a good look for the boys at Rocco's. Not a good look. But the latest tally is West Virginia is sitting. I mean, it's not even close, dude. West Virginia is at 23,000 Jell-O shots. Nobody else is even at 10,000. Texas is – you know what's crazy? Texas is in last.
Man.
2,873. Y'all just aren't a big Jell-O shot fan base.
No.
Y'all are a Tito's fan base.
Tito's, margaritas.
Yeah. Y'all are not a Jell-O shot fan base. Ole Miss is in second, but they're gone.
Yeah.
Even Bama and Oklahoma have more. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So
yeah, we're at Rocco's, ordering ranch waters and margaritas, I guess, while everyone else is getting the
But
Jell-O.
Here's the deal. I think a lot of people like this Rocco's Jell-O shot challenge thing. It's not going to go away, obviously, but I think people are kind of getting a little weary of the shtick a little bit. It's because of the way it's turned corporate.
Yeah.
I think people are kind of cooling off on it. Like, it's like, oh, okay, like, let's win it was really awesome like 2 or 3 years ago. Now it's just kind of like, especially then the McAfee clip comes out and people are like, yeah, so I don't know, man. Rocco's might have to reinvent the wheel here in the coming years if they want to keep this thing going.
For sure, man.
All right, Chris. Well, I've seen you hit the links a lot, so hopefully you got a few more rounds of golf up there in you. But I know you've got some games to cover today and the rest of the week, so always enjoy it. Appreciate your time, my friend. Hopefully we're talking about a Texas Baseball National Championship. I guess the last game would be next Monday, so if we do have you on Tuesday, I'd love for that to be the lead of our conversation. But either way, man, enjoy your time up there and appreciate your time with us today.
Yeah, guys, really appreciate y'all. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So
no doubt.
Y'all be good.
SEC Unfiltered, by the way, we'll say it, and you can add on, but y'all are doing a great job. If you're looking for instant reactions and all things College World Series, they've got it covered, right?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be live today at 11, actually, so coming up in about 35 minutes. So, yeah, we're
all right, brother.
Excited, man. We're having a blast.
We'll get out of here. Chris. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right, boys. Y'all be good.
There he goes. Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. Yep. Talking all things College World Series. Hell, it's almost the SEC Invitational, especially the right side of the bracket. So doing a great job giving boots on the ground coverage of what's going down at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha.
Yeah, I was never a Jell-O shot, even when I was drinking. That's just a waste of alcohol to me. I didn't like Jell-O that much, and I never saw them put Jack Daniels in the Jell-O shot. So It just never did anything for me. All those different colors of Jell-O, no thank you.
Perhaps it was like me being college kid who thought he was invincible, like all of us do when we're at that age.
Oh, you just thought they couldn't do that to you. It's not going to get you that drunk.
I just didn't think they ever did anything. Like, I drank a lot of them in college. People would have pre-games at their houses or apartments in West Campus, and like someone would make Jell-O shots, or you'd go out to a lake for like the 4th of July or something like that. Somebody would have Jell-O shots. I would have like 30 of them, and I'd be like, I don't feel anything. Give me some real booze.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, what are you doing putting Jell-O in my booze? Cut it out.
Just give me the bottle because there's nothing in here. I'm just eating. I feel like I'm at Luby's right now, just eating Jell-O.
Oh God!
Please give me. I couldn't tell you the last time I've had a Jell-O shot, but I never thought they did anything. Thought it was a waste of time and booze. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was for me in margaritas. I drank it. Just tastes like a bunch of fruit, and I'm like, is there something supposed to happen to me? I used to go to Trudy's and drink those Trudy's. What are those margaritas that you and
the Mexican martinis at Trudy's?
Yeah, the martinis. I would have one of those, and I'd be like, so what's supposed to happen after 2 of these things? Where's that Jack? Let me that bottle of Jack Daniels down here. Let me show you how it's done.
Yeah.
All the fruity stuff. I was not a fruity drunk.
You're just a fruity sober now, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Just a regular little fruit cake.
Regular fruit cake. Yeah, I don't like the fruity drunks. The guys who will just drink too much. I know we're talking about different things now, but the guys who just get way too handsy and way too close to you once they have a few drinks in their system, and it's like, is there something you want to tell me here, guy?
You don't have to put your arm around me to talk to me.
Yeah, what do they say? Drunk words are sober thoughts. Are you? You got an announcement you'd like to make right now, sir? I'm not into that thing. All right. You do you, of course, but it's just, not for me.
You do you with somebody else. Leave me out of it.
Hey, you do somebody else. Don't do me, please.
Yeah. No.
Don't do me.
No, Jack Daniels just made you were either one or the other. You were just drunk or you were a mean drunk. And most of the times I would just be drunk. I never got to be a mean drunk.
Don't need any of those. Too many mean drunks out there.
No, absolutely.
Never understood that. All right, we'll take your thoughts. Good stuff from Chris Phillips talking College World Series. Yeah, I do think Texas has the pitching edge tonight, but look, I thought Texas had the pitching edge against Georgia on Saturday, and it didn't play out that way. So we'll see. The Longhorns in a good spot, having Luke Harrison available. They haven't used any of their high-leverage bullpen arms. Georgia has not used any bullpen arm in general. So as fresh as Texas is, Georgia's actually a little fresher when it comes to their bullpen. But obviously Texas having Luke Harrison, graduate senior who's pitched in a bunch of big games and big spots, that should give the Longhorns the advantage. Hopefully he's on his game. And obviously, hopefully the Texas offense can resemble yesterday's Texas offense a lot more than the game 1 against Georgia Texas offense. And I hope Joey Volchko is unavailable tonight out of the bullpen for the Dogs.
Yeah, we don't need to see him at all. Stay at the hotel, watch the game on TV.
And that's the thing, right? It's like, Georgia would love to use Joey Volchko tomorrow or Thursday. Tomorrow is Wednesday if they win. But again, backs against the wall. If they're down a run and they're like, oh God, we got to get some people out to save our seasons, then I would think they would turn to Joey Volchko to try to get some outs. And Texas has to be ready to obviously look a lot better against that dude.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
All right, so we'll talk a little more Texas baseball. We got to get to some Steve Sarkisian sound. He did an interview with Kay Adams yesterday and had some interesting comments about Arch Manning's future. We'll play those in a moment, but before we get to a little Longhorn football chatter, how about some more sponsor shout-outs?
Say to our good friends over at Sue Patrick, of course, and we will be there on Thursday, getting ready for Father's Day. Dad needs his gifts. They got all the collectibles, accessories, all the Texas-themed items, of course, and a wide variety of men's and women's clothing, including the wonderful hats that they have. A great selection over at Sue Patrick. Sue Patrick offers free shipping on online orders, $59 or more, free curbside pickup, and guys, plenty of parking space. If you want to come over and see it for yourself, and you may not want to go online, you want to come over and visit us on Thursday, as a matter of fact. Pick up something for Dad. He would love to have something really special for Father's Day this year. I think he's really thinking of one of those great polos, and he's got tons of them over there. Jay's got all kinds of great polos for Father's Day over at Sue Patrick. For more information, folks, please go to SuePatrick.com. Don't forget, 50 years, celebrating 50 years of service in Central Texas. Our good friends over at Sue Patrick.
They've got the Texas Softball National Championship gear.
Yes.
And they've got some Texas Baseball College World Series gear. Hopefully next week they're selling some Texas Baseball National Championship gear, but
that would be great.
Long way to go to get there, but love our friends at Sue Patrick. Also love our friends at Centex Tickets. If you want to attend any sporting event in person, how about a World Cup match? You know, ticket prices are pretty crazy for the World Cup that's going on right now all around the country and in Mexico and Canada. How about a 10% off discount with our friends at Centex Tickets? That's what they do. Use the promo code Centex10. You will get 10% off of any ticket purchase, whether it's World Cup games, whether it's Longhorn games, whether it's Austin FC matches, Round Rock Express games, whatever. And of course, it's not just sports. They've got concerts, they've got comedy shows, they've got festivals. Austin City Limits tickets are already on sale over there. CentexTickets.com, super easy to use. Just log on from your phone or computer. And don't forget to use the promo code Centex10 for 10% off of any ticket purchase.
And our good friends over at Woods Comfort Systems right now, $70 off of AC or plumbing repairs and 0% financing for 36 months on any Bryant system. Hopefully you don't need a new system, but if you do, get that 36 months and only 0% for 36 months. So you got to have a system because it's about to get hot up in here. It was hot this morning and BK on Thursday. What does it feel like? 96, but it's going, well, no, it's going to be 96, but it's going to feel like did it say 110?
Yep.
110?
The heat index on Thursday, I think it's like over 110.
That's miserable, man. That is absolutely miserable. So hopefully your air conditioning system will be working properly. If not, if you've got any problems where it's not keeping at the right temperature, please call our friends at Woods Comfort Systems. They've been doing it for 70 years, and now they do plumbing. So trust them to your indoor or outdoor plumbing. Woods Comfort Systems, nobody does it better.
No, they don't. WoodsComfortSystems.com or give them a call, 512-842-5066. And a quick shout out to our friends at the ATX Indoor Golf Club. Where I go to work on my game. We've had a bunch of rain, and now we're about to have a bunch of heat. If you want to play some golf, but not have to deal with the elements and the crazy weather that we've got going on right now, go see our friends at the ATX Indoor Golf Club on the Highway 290 service road, just past the Mopac 290 intersection. I love this place, man. The latest TrackMan technology. They've got a couple of bays. You could play solo. You could play with your friends. You could play thousands of golf courses around the country, and you could play 18 in like an hour. It's great. The best part, you don't have to putt either. I hate putting. Putting sucks. You go work on your game, go play great golf courses like Pebble Beach is there. And they've got memberships where you could play 24/7, 365, or you could just book a tee time with some buddies. ATXIndoorGolfClub.com. That is their website for more information. And make sure you tell them you heard about them right here.
Our good friends at Hat Creek Burger Company, where they're going to get the new Wimby burger there. They need to have it because he needs to put on some pounds, that guy. Then again, the Buck needs to put on some pounds. So tomorrow before golf, I will have a big hat, large strawberry shake with whipped cream and a cherry. Hopefully my cherries will be there so I can get my cherry on there. And fries, large fry, not messing around tomorrow, okay? Taking it easy over the last couple, going to the dentist. I'm about to pack it on here for the remainder of the summer. And you can too. Hat Creek Burger is proud to be a place where you can come in hungry and leave full for sure. Over 30 locations in the state of Texas. There's something at Hat Creek Burger for everyone, including margaritas, mom and dad, if you want to, a little bit later in the evenings. They'll serve you a little margarita while you're watching kids at those wonderful playscapes that they have at Hat Creek Burger Company.
Oh, yeah. Love Hat Creek Burger Company. HatCreekBurgers.com to find a location near you and to place an online order. All right. Let's get to a little Steve Sarkisian sound. So Coach Sark was a guest on the Up and Adams show yesterday with Kay Adams. And we've got a couple of clips here. We'll play some today. We might get to a few more of these tomorrow. It was a 20 to 25-minute conversation talking all things Texas football. They actually got into a little World Cup as well. We're not going to play any sound on that. But this was the clip that went the most viral yesterday. So, Arch Manning, obviously the starting quarterback at Texas, going into his 4th year with the program, going into his 2nd year as the starter. Technically, Buck, he's only a redshirt junior here in 2026. So he does have 2 remaining seasons of college eligibility. He won't have to sue like Trinidad Chambliss or Brendan Sorsby if he wants to be eligible for another year. But I think just about everybody has kind of been led to believe that 2026 is going to be the last year of Arch Manning in college football, and then he's going to go very high in the 2027 NFL draft. Well, here's the question and the answer. To include all context, Kay Adams asked Steve Sarkisian about Arch Manning potentially playing at Texas in 2027.
With Arch, do you know what's happening? Has the conversation happened as far as like 2027 and beyond? Are we waiting? Like, I guess the question is, how surprised would you be if you wanted to stay?
We haven't had the discussion, but I will tell you, in that
room too.
I will tell you, I would not be surprised. I think Arch really loves college football. I really do. I think he loves the University of Texas. He does pretty good through NIL. He's got some pretty good endorsements going right now, which is a credit to him and obviously the lineage of the last name and the brand of the University of Texas, all those things coming together. But again, on the same token, I won't be surprised if he declares and decides to go to the draft. But I think some of that is dependent upon, how we play as a team this fall, how he plays individually, knock on wood, injury-free football, things like that. But again, that's not our focus. Our focus is on getting ready for the season, getting ready for Texas State in week 1, and then Ohio State, then UTSA, then Tennessee, so on and so forth. So we haven't really had any dialogue about it. But to your point, I wouldn't be surprised. He loves college, and again, he's got some pretty good NIL stuff going for himself right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there you go. Steve Sarkisian, just to summarize the big quote, he said, "We haven't had the discussion, but I will tell you, I would not be surprised. I think Arch really loves college football. I really do. I think he loves the University of Texas. He does pretty good through NIL." Steve Sarkisian at least leaving the door open that Arch Manning could actually have 2 more years of Texas football in front of him.
Yeah, well, he's not going to shut the door on that kid if he decided to come back. He wouldn't shut the door. That's for damn sure. So if it were, and it also depends on how the season plays out in the NFL and who's that number 1 pick going to be. Where's it going to be? They got to be looking at that too. I mean, I hate to see that guy end up at Cleveland. There's a couple teams that you'd hate to see him end up with, but no matter where he ends up, he's going to end up on a bad team. So that's how that works.
Usually how it works, right? If he is as good as he's expected to be, I mean, he is currently the Vegas favorite to be the number 1 pick in the draft. So if he is going to go high, he's going to go to a really bad team that's going to need a pretty major turnaround. So, and
that's mostly what happens every year at that time for that position, that choice. So there's a lot of it he can't do. I mean, but if he likes the school and likes what's happening, he's got plenty of money in his pocket. Like you said, you'd still be there if you could afford to.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I couldn't have gone to the NFL and been the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. So I didn't quite have the same future options that Arch Manning is going to have after this season is done. But look, there's benefits to going back to college. Obviously, now there's at least a discussion to be had that these guys can get paid. Whereas, back in the day, it felt like guys were rushing to get to the league as quickly as they possibly could. Now you've got guys suing to come back to college football because college is fun and they get paid a lot. So, there's arguments, I guess, to be made in favor of any college athlete returning to school for another year. Like, I think without context, on its surface, it sounds like a pretty outlandish thought. And like the easy thing would be, my God, the 2026 season would have to be a disaster for Arch Manning to even consider coming back to college, right? Because he's the Heisman favorite. Again, the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, if he's going to be that good and go that high, then what the hell would he do returning to college? Because the money's nice, but NFL money is better. And if you're the number 1 pick, you make more money than you do if you go back to college football. And it's not like when Arch goes pro, Warby Parker and Uber and all these other deals are like, yeah, now we don't want you anymore. He's going to get more endorsements when he goes pro.
Right.
So the money's going to be more for him. So again, on its surface, it's like something would have to go horribly wrong. He gets hurt or he stinks, and that's why he'd come back for another year. But you look at the Manning family. You look at Archie, you look at Peyton, you look at Eli, and the amount of games that they started. All three of those guys were starters for 3 years or more in college football. Arch Manning has been a starter for 1 year. After this year, it will be 2. So you look at career start numbers and you look at year start numbers, like the Manning family, and it obviously worked for all of them. Being a starting quarterback in college for 3 years was something they did, and it obviously translated to a lot of success in the NFL, especially for Peyton and Eli. So maybe because of that, the doors at least crept open for Arch to return next year.
It was just a pretty simple answer, and we haven't talked about it. I mean, he didn't have to. It's not like he's lying he just gave his opinion. We haven't talked about that, and I'm not going to throw my opinion on what I think he should do. When the time comes, we'll talk about it. But as of now, we haven't, he just told her we haven't discussed that at all. He has an option, but he does have an option. The doors, like you said, the door is open. He has an option to come back, and I don't think that door will be shut by the head coach.
Yep. For sure. For sure. Sark would have been crazy to close the door there.
Yeah,
right.
He would. Yeah. If he were to say, well, I think he should go after this year, then that's almost like telling the kid, we'd like to move on.
Right.
Instead of saying, no, the door's open, you got another year. We'll talk about it when the time comes.
Yeah. And Sark's got other things on his plate right now.
And
he's way more focused on, obviously recruiting going on in the off season, but the 2026 season, he's not thinking ahead to what's going to happen next off season and the 2027 calendar year. So Sark didn't say anything crazy or outlandish. I think he gave the answer he's probably supposed to give there, but anything with Arch Manning goes viral. We know this by now. This has happened for 4 years, hell, and back to the time he committed to the University of Texas. But that caught some people off guard. I mean, I still believe this will be Arch Manning's final year at Texas because I do think he's going to have a great season and position himself to be a very, very high draft pick next April.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get better than number 1. There's nothing any higher. So,
but I mean, he could have. I don't think he would have been number 1 if he left this year. He could have been number 2 if he did go and decided to come back. So he's already done it once. And again, it was only 1 year as a starter versus now we'll have 2 years under his belt. So a bit of an apples to oranges conversation. But he's already turned down the opportunity to be a very high draft pick once. Could he do it again? And
there's the only thing that's out there is you possibly getting hurt. And a lot of football players, a lot of athletes don't even think about that ever happening to them. They, their agents and everybody around them want them to think that way. They don't think when they take the field, they don't have any thought of that. They just have a thought of playing the best they can, bumps and bruises, but not ending a career. So that's not on his that kind of stuff. He's just playing, and if he feels like he can add a little bit more by staying another year, he probably will. But I mean, I would doubt it. I just don't think if you're number 1, it's hard to get better than number 1.
Right.
Because that is your career. That's your career. That's what you're going. You're not going to college. It'd be nice to have a degree, but you're not going to be the finance guy. You're going to be a football player in the NFL.
Well, then it becomes, obviously we're putting the cart way before the horse here, but like, what if Cleveland has the number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft?
To me, I would give that some thought. Do I want to come back here and have some fun? I got girls on campus. I got money in my pocket. I live in Austin, Texas. Do I want to go to Cleveland? I don't know. I'd give that some thought. There's girls in Cleveland. There's money in Cleveland. They got to pay you more than you're getting here.
I mean, I guess you could do what Eli did, though, like go pro, but be like, I'm not playing for y'all, so go ahead and trade the pick, Well,
yeah, you can tell them anything you want to tell them once that time comes, once you've made that decision. But the decision to stay that's a tough decision, too.
Yeah.
It is, because to me, from that point on, it's not like you come back and you get worse. All you're doing is getting more experience every time you're underneath center in college before you go to the NFL. Even if you're on a team that doesn't have to be that great, you're getting all the experience, you're getting all the snaps. As long as you stay healthy, it's good. Now, I know the teams that you're on would love for you to be good, but my goodness.
I'm going to go back to what I said, and I know I provided some context that, you can make an argument on the other side for, but something will have to go horribly wrong for Arch
Yes,
Manning to be the starting quarterback at Texas in 2027.
I
Now, look,
agree.
I want to have my cake and I want to eat it too. I hope Arch wins the Heisman and Texas wins the national championship. And he's like, that was fun. I want to run it back. Of course, that'd be great. But I don't think that's a realistic scenario at all. I think the only way Arch Manning does return to Texas in 2027 is if he doesn't have the year and Texas doesn't have the year that we hope they have. So I'd rather have an amazing year that ends with trophies and him winning the Heisman or getting close to it, and then he goes off to the pros versus 2026, another disappointing year. Texas misses the playoff. It's a bit of a roller coaster.
We got one more year with him.
Yeah, we get one more year of them. So I don't think he'll come back because I do think this is going to be a special season here in Austin.
I agree.
Sark didn't say, again, like you said, we got some comments. Sark didn't say anything outlandish. He wasn't lying. He wasn't making something up. I believe him. There are reasons to consider coming back to college football nowadays, but if Arch does what we want him to do, then he won't have any real reasons to return to college. The NFL, it'll be time for him to go to the league.
By the way, college is a lot of fun. There's some fun to be had,
Of course. But, there's some fun to be had in the NFL too. Let's not act like those guys don't have a good time.
Oh, no, they have a good time.
And they don't have to go to school either.
Oh, that's right. He is a student athlete. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I know you're very focused on the school part.
Student athletes.
Yes, you, Eric. Appreciate that. He still gets to play football, and he only gets to focus on football, and he gets to travel to a lot of places around the country to play football.
Absolutely right, man.
So, I expect this to be Arch's final year, but there's the sound from Steve Sarkisian yesterday.
All right, I asked you a question before we started the show this morning. I hadn't seen Wemby, the whole walking off the court thing, until yesterday, BK. It took me that long I've seen a lot of the highlights, but I didn't know that dude just left the court without even going over to congratulate. It's not necessary. I know maybe I'm making a big deal of it, but that just seems that's just kind of weird for a guy who wants to come off as, I think, something special. That's not special to me. I'm not going to call it classless because there's nothing in the rule book say that you got to go do this or you have to, a hockey line that you have to do that. But it's almost at the end of a tough battle like that, most guys will stay the course and just go. They don't have to congratulate everybody. They don't have to stand in the line, but they generally go and say something to the other coach, don't they?
Generally speaking, I would say yes. A couple of things here. When San Antonio beat Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals, most of the Thunder players did not stick around to shake hands with the Spurs and congratulate the Spurs. They just went to the locker room. So it's not like this is the first instance of something like
no,
this.
I'm not. Yeah.
I say this all the time too. Like, if you spend your days looking for class in sport, I would advise you to find a new hobby. Like, not to say it doesn't happen. There are plenty of instances where people are classy in sports, but these are the most competitive people on the planet, and they're in the heat of the moment. And expecting them to just be at their very best as humans when, like for Wemby and the Spurs, this was their lifelong dream. They had worked their ass off their entire lives to get to this spot, and they came up a little bit short of their goal. Like, expecting them to all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm super happy. I'm super congratulatory. Proud of you guys for doing what you did. I don't even care. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't hold that much. There are a lot of people blasting Wemby for it. There are people using the word classless. I know you didn't, but there are a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I use sportsmanship because I believe in sportsmanship. I believe there's certain things.
I believe in it. I just like it.
Well, you have to suck it up. I think that you should suck it up. I don't use the word classless. That doesn't mean you're classless, but I believe in sportsmanship. And you, because you lost, you just have to suck that up. I think that's a part of, and that's not a young thing. Their older guys do the same thing and have done the same thing, I believe. But I didn't realize. I think sportsmanship is important. I just do. I mean, whether you're a little leaguer or an NBA, NFL, college player, I just think that's important.
No, that's fair. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some, but there are plenty of people who are on your side who, think it's the wrong thing to do in that spot. I mean, it's a little different than hockey. Obviously, hockey, you've got the handshake line at the end of the series where everybody basically has to get together.
Yeah, that's weird. That's almost that now. That's becoming that sport. If a guy skated away from that, then I would really be upset because that's now almost like a rule. It seems, even though it's not a rule.
I don't know if that's ever happened where like someone opted not to participate in the handshake line at the end of a playoff.
That's very interesting. That's interesting. I've never seen it happen where they didn't.
But it has happened in basketball before. Again, it happened in the previous round of these playoffs. And it was kind of a story then. People were mad at the Thunder when it happened. But obviously the NBA Finals, a bigger deal, more eyeballs, more people paying attention. And there are no more games to talk about.
Yeah, guys in the Super Bowl don't run over and start hugging the winning team. They don't hang on there.
It's the same. Yeah, NFL is a better comparison. Like some guys will shake hands, they'll dap guys up, whatever. But a lot of guys will just walk off to the locker room, and it's fine.
Right.
It's no big deal. So, yeah, I don't think much of it. I think in Wemby's case, the reason he's taking so much heat, or at least part of the reason he's taking so much heat, is just the way he conducted himself at other moments in the playoffs.
Yeah, I probably you're right.
Some of the things he said at press conferences. The trash talk he did in game 4 where he's smiling, I'm in your head, before the Spurs blew that 29-point lead in that game. Like, he was cocky. He was arrogant. A lot of the Spurs were. And then you're going to act that way, and then you're not going to shake the hands of the other team after you lose. Again, you combine all of those things together, and I think that has made
probably
from a molehill. But me personally, I just don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah, I think it's kind of far when people go, that guy's classless. The guy's in the heat. He's in the heat of the moment. Some guys can handle it. Some guys can't. Some guys take it too far. I mean, if that guy's talking about, this is my life, this is the biggest lesson I've ever learned in my life. I mean, things like that. He says certain things, but sometimes he says things, but he does them kind of opposite,
Yeah.
That's how it is. I mean, 22 years old.
Right. He'll learn from this.
Yes, it's all learning.
On the court, off the court, they'll learn and they will get better. Another moment that a lot of people are kind of mad at Victor Wembanyama for in the post-game press conference. And again, this is something that I think is being blown out of proportion. But the very end of Wemby's final press conference of the year, he, I guess this was his sort of parting message to the media in San Antonio.
Appreciate y'all. See y'all. Never.
He just drops a appreciate y'all, see y'all, never, as if like there's not going to be media at any other press conference that he has for the remainder of his career. Like, was that a retirement announcement from Victor Wembanyama? I don't think it was. But people hear stuff like that. Again, he was cocky. He was arrogant. He was talking throughout the whole playoffs. And I'm the best player in the world. I deserve MVP. And, when the Spurs were down 3-1, he's like, yeah, no, we're coming back. Everybody knows we're going to come back and win this series. And then the last thing he says in front of a microphone is, see y'all never. It's like to a bunch of guys who were just doing their job, asking them questions about the finals. And it's like, again, one thing probably doesn't blow up, but because it was just an amalgamation of all of those things, has Wemby's antics, if you will, and that feels like too strong of a word, being a big national story.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's his youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's 22.
He's 22 years. Sounds like a young dad.
He's 22. None of us were very mature at 22.
No.
But again, it goes to he acts like he's
and
mature,
he's French.
Wise.
And he's French.
And I hang out with the Shaolin monks. I'm wiser than y'all. I conduct myself in a different way.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the part that gets to people. The way he's going off with the monks and not having enough ribs and pork ribs and stuff. He's not like the rest of us because he's not like the rest of us.
No, yeah, none of us have ever been in his shoes,
or will ever be able to fit in those shoes.
No. Skip Bayless has been calling him Victim Wembanyama over the last couple of days. Which is, as much as I can't stand Skip Bayless,
That's
like,
a good one.
that guy still got his fastball. He still can hurl insults with the best of them.
That's good.
I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, I said it yesterday, said it today. I'll continue to say it. The Spurs will be just fine. They'll learn. They'll get better. They've got such a bright future. I mean, the core of Wemby and Harper and Castle, all those guys are 22 or younger. You build around them. And again, you don't need an engine change. You just need an oil change. Make a couple of moves in the offseason, and there's no reason the Spurs can't be right back here again in 2027.
Yeah,
so,
and just a little dose of humility will make you think just a little bit differently.
Yeah, and look, I mean, there's so many instances in sport. We talked about it during the fight. You don't have to. You can win your first trip to the finals or the Super Bowl or the World Series, whatever. Like, there's no rule in place that says if you're a superstar, you have to lose in your first championship series. But there are plenty of examples of guys who did lose in their first championship series and go on to have a tremendous career. Like LeBron lost his first finals. That was one of the greatest players
become
of all
Hall of
time.
Famers. You're right.
Right. Some guys don't make it to the finals in their first playoff trip. Like Jordan never lost in the finals, but it's not like the first year he made the playoffs, he went and won an NBA championship. So, yeah, anyone with the brain realizes that the Spurs will be just fine. It obviously sucks. It stings. And considering they led for like 72% of the series, that twists the knife even more. But take your shots at the Spurs now. I'm not a Spurs fan, and I'm saying this. Take your shot at the Spurs now because they're probably going to be getting the last laughs, plural, in the next few years.
Young team is just going to get better and better, a little bit more mature every year.
Agreed. And
once again, I'll just say this: sportsmanship counts. It counts. I mean, it's not a rule, but I think it's just something that I've grown up with and have pushed not only my players that have played for me and being around, but my kids. That's just the deal. I've not recalled being around a lot of bad sports that I didn't have something to say to them to let them know that I thought that was really poor sportsmanship. I think that's kind of a little bit of I've grown up, BK, in that way of being a coach. That's part of my responsibility is to, I'm not saying they can't be tough guys or whatever, but I do expect guys that have been around me to be good sports. That's just something that. I mean, it's not necessary. Somebody can go tell me to F off, but you know what? It's not that, like, I'm not going to say anything when I see somebody have poor sportsmanship.
Well, there's a solution here. Victor Wembanyama needs to attend the Bucky Godbolt Fall School. And not only will he learn how to, not only will he learn how to not fall and get concussed like he did in the first round against the Blazers, but you could teach him how to be a better sport, since you just said people around you are never bad. So it's a double whammy right there, sir.
Never thought of it that way.
At once.
Huh.
Yeah. So I like that. Look, I'm a bad sport as a fan. My favorite team loses. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not very competitive because I know I'm not good at sports. So if I'm out playing recreational whatever with somebody, I don't care. But like as a fan, I'm competitive. I get mad. So again, as a player in the heat of the moment, look, different strokes for different folks. No one's going to get mad at you for caring about sportsmanship. You're a better person than I am. It doesn't bother me very much. Him not shaking hands.
You've seen me at the golf course. I mean, I'll talk a bunch of crap, but you don't see me chucking clubs. That whole when things fall apart because of you, I'm just pay too much for these clubs. I'm not chucking this one up in the tree. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that.
Those days are behind me. The smashing a tennis. One time, some of the most trouble I'd ever gotten in as a kid was I was playing tennis using my dad's racket with a buddy, and I got pissed and I smashed the racket on the court like I was John McEnroe.
No.
And then I went home and lied about it. I was like, it just broke. I don't know what happened.
This piece of junk you got?
Yeah, it doesn't happen from a shank, dumbass. Like you just slam the racket on the. So yeah, it'd be very pot calling kettle black. And again, this is like middle school tennis here. So that's just I realized that I'm not good at it, so I'm not going to call other people out for maybe not being very good at it.
Yeah, but I've watched you play golf. You don't get that. You know, we're not professionals. We know it for exactly what it is. We're only going to get to be so good in this life at certain things. And smashing my clubs is not going to help my game.
It'll make it worse because then you're going to end up spending more money on needing new clubs.
Absolutely.
At least you have the excuse. Oh, I got new clubs. That's why I'm not hitting them good today. I got to break babies in. So there you go. I guess that's the BBK news for
that's
today.
Good stuff. I should go viral. I should do some falls and show people how to fall.
I've been trying to push that for a while now.
Get that mattress out front of the yard and show you. Pull the truck up, show you how to fall off the back of the gate. You know how to land.
You could go viral if, you give some fall school lessons out there. Teach people. It'd be a lot funnier if you, had video clips of you falling. So it's like, here's my mistake, and then here's what I do now to prevent this from happening again.
Oh my God!
But you could, because you don't know how to edit.
Hit my head again, and I'm not going to do that.
You could have gone viral a couple of weeks ago. And you don't know how to edit. I would have had to do this, or somebody else would have had to do this. If you clipped Victor Wembanyama's fall against the Blazers, and then right after been like, here's what you're supposed to do, Wemby, and then shown him how to fall in that situation if it ever were to arise again.
Can I see that guy? Do you have that fall? Can you pull that fall up just once more for fans to see how the great one? This is how the great ones fall.
Yeah, they call him the alien. He looked like an earthling on this one, didn't he?
Oh, God. Every time I see that. I was just at the dentist yesterday, and he's going to sleep. Why is he sleeping on the job?
Man, you said it. You said it at the time. I don't know how he didn't break a jaw or lose a few chiclets or both.
Man.
I mean, concussions, that's obviously no joke. That's bad enough. But, yeah, that was still tough to watch a month later,
Happens when you have long legs and big feet.
Maybe that's why he was so mean to the press and didn't shake hands. It's because he was jumbled up still from that incident.
Could be. Probably hadn't played the same since that incident.
Right. Real quick, shout out to Qualis Roofing before we get out of here. Free roof inspections, free storm assessments, and they'll actually buy you a free Longhorns t-shirt for having them out to your place. They're the best roofers in Central Texas. Don't just take my word for it. Look online. They're A+ rated by the BBB.
Google me.
And they got tons of 5-star reviews. Just Google their name. Nobody does it better. Residential and commercial roofs. QualisGC.com is their website. 512-257-0033. The phone number to call. All right. Well, that will do it for a Tuesday show. We'll have more sound from Stark tomorrow. Talk plenty of Texas baseball. Hopefully we're talking about another game that the Longhorns get to play in the College World Series. Would love to be previewing a Texas OU Red River showdown for a spot in the college football in the College World Series final. Feels very college football-like with these two teams. But we'll have plenty more fun stories tomorrow as well. But great show, my man. That was fun.
Same to you, man. It was fun. It was good to talk to Chris today, too.
Yeah, good stuff from Chris Phillips. Thanks to him for joining us. And most importantly, thanks to you people, you mullets out there for being a part of the show. Y'all are the most important part of the show. We will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Y'all have a great day.
Welcome.
Welcome.